CTV's national correspondent Adrian Gobriel live near Tel Aviv this morning. Adrian, we're 7 days in, the devastating toll this is taking on citizens and families as well. And now we're hearing that Israel is warning residents in Gaza, 1.1 million of them, to effectively try to move south. The logistics of this are incredibly difficult. What are you hearing today about those efforts and the feasibility of it, really?
I've heard that it is a massive undertaking to get that many people to the south. As has been shared this morning, Hamas has told civilians not to go anywhere. They're telling people to stay in place. The Israeli government criticizing Hamas, saying they're using civilians as human shields. But this movement of the request to move 1 million people to the south of Gaza is as clear of an indication that we've received over the last several days that a ground assault by Israeli troops could be imminent. They've been stationed near the border for several days now, and that would be a clear escalation to this conflict.
And Adriel, give us a sense of where you are this morning. Earlier, we did chat with you, but I want to get our viewers who've just tuned in now to learn more about what's happening behind you.
Yeah, so amid the conflict and the horrors of the past several days, there are simple yet remarkable examples of community, of people trying to help in any way they can. Unfortunately and tragically, there are lots of funerals happening right now, as well as hundreds of people in hospitals. But all stores are closed because of this conflict. Many stores are closed, including florists. So we're just outside of Tel Aviv, and these are all volunteers. So flower growers have been donating their flowers, and there's an organizer who set up multiple homes where people are coming and they're building bouquets, they're building wreaths. Some of them are wreaths that will be going to funerals for children, as well as soldiers, family members. They're also sending some of these flowers to hospital. So people here, this is one way for them to help. It's things you don't think about in a crisis like this, with so many people needing support, so many funerals. There's no florist. People here are doing what they can, and it's also therapeutic for them. They're keeping their hands busy and their mind off of the conflict.
Absolutely difficult to do, I can only imagine, Adrian. And of course, you mentioned the funeral's happening tomorrow on the Sabbath. What else? Are there any other events being planned to mark just what's unfolded in the last week there?
Well, we know that there have been multiple protests, and there's likely more planned. Protests from peace organizations that are both Arab and Israeli, joint organizations that are calling for the release of prisoners, that are calling for a de-escalation, that are calling for humanitarian corridors, for safe passage for people. There's also, people are also concerned as to, how the 1 week of this attack, what could be coming? Could Hamas mark the day with more rockets into Israel, or worse? So, lots of nervous hours, but people are doing what they can, as you can see behind me.
And Adrian, as those nervous hours and minutes tick by, we know that U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was in Israel yesterday. He's meeting with Palestinian and King Abdullah, today. What do we know about those talks with Blinken? He's looks like, from his schedule that we've received, he's hitting all of the major points in the Middle East, trying to get a consensus, trying to pull support together for this conflict, for what is taking place. And it's also a strong show of support by the U.S. to Israel, that they're standing with them. We know that one of their largest aircraft carriers is just off the coast. And so this is where we are, as he's going through much of the Arab world and the Middle East, rallying support.
And of course, we know there's still 150 hostages that Hamas has taken, and this impending ground offensive by Israel. So much to follow. Adrian Gobriel is just live for us outside of Tel Aviv. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Adrian.